this is video 3 over short mid-range footwork and then with accompanying actions. Okay, so the first 2 videos, this is video 3. The first 2 videos are basically just showing the different stances, weight distribution, some of the footwork, and how to tie some of the pieces together. This video today, video 3, we're going to use patterns. I can't see this from there, but I'll get another piece of paper here. So we have these 3 patterns. If you think like a boxer who does shadow boxing, if you think like most any martial arts style, there is some form of drills or footwork combined with some hand and leg gestures, right? You would even get that if you took fencing, right? A fencer doesn't just fence his or her rounds, they actually drill. You know, they might just sit here and over take thrust into, like a target on the wall. You know, but they've got to do this piece of footwork. They're trying to build the speed and the dexterity in that action. So we're going to look at these 3 patterns, and I'm not the greatest drawer. I could have sat there and spent 15 minutes trying to do this. I just took a ballpoint pen and just kind of squiggled it out. But this first one, if you think it looks kind of like a stop sign, right? You know, like how the stop sign has the different edges. And so that one is more where I'm encircling someone through angles, right? And I'll explain them all more in a minute. Then we have a pattern like this where we have verticals, horizontals, and diagonals. And then we have something like a plus sign, okay? And I'm going to go through and explain these, and hopefully I can do this in 20 minutes. The next 2 videos, if you're watching this, because some people watch a video for 2-3 minutes, and I'm going to watch this, but fast forward 2 parts of it. The next 2 videos, the next one will be over short, mid-range kicks and strike actions and hand gestures, okay? The 5th video will be over combinations of kicks and strikes put together into whatever fashion to execute a move or technique. These 5 videos accompany another set of videos over throws and a breakdown of throws, and then those things couple another set of videos, right? So all of these things will merge together, and it'll give you a really good idea about short range striking and kicking to get an attachment, to execute a throw, to go for your follow-on control or follow-on attack, okay? So in the Swajao that I do and in the Chongshi Tai Chi, they have this somewhat of a symbiotic relationship. And both of them utilize also the Xingyi that we do, some of the shorter footwork and the strikes and things that couple with that. And through time, like when I was teaching in the 90s and the 2000s and things like that, and even in the later, I used to take people to Sanda competitions. And I would again if I felt the need or something like that, but in that, I had some students that were long-range competitors that did long-range kicking and all of that, like someone like Alex was excellent at that. Long-range kicking and striking and so forth. But others would really focus more on short range, kicking and striking, because to us the goal was to get the throw off, even with the boxing gloves, right? So anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. But like I said, this is the 3rd video in this series, and then there are 2 more videos. The next one will just be, and both of those I'll do with a partner. It'll be showing certain different kind of kicks that I can do, blow and strikes and things like that, and how I would articulate them, not utilizing a lot of momentum, but more using body force. And then later, those will be coupled with another 5 to a half dozen videos over throws, and those things will merge together. And it'll give you a great little package to understand how Swajao and Swajao Sancho, how it works together as a unit for self-defense, or even utilize a lot of these principal ideas for competition. Even whether it's Sanda or if you're going to compete in some other kickboxing type So we're going to start with that plus sign first, right? Just a plus sign. And when I do this, if you think that I'm using it for advancing and retreating, or I'm moving to the side of the person, right? And so if you went back to any of the pieces of footwork, I can step, I can drive, the same type of actions, right? Or I can step in and explode out into the action. I can switch my feet. I can utilize multiple pieces of footwork together. Okay, so we got all that kind of in our mind, right? So when we do these linear pieces, if you think you're in the center of this plus sign, right? And from here, I'm going to take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, that will get me to the center, or 2 steps back, 2 steps forward. I can also do it to the side, and we'll do that in a minute. So I'm just going to pick one of the pieces, right? And I'm going to do it this way so that you can see me better instead of facing the camera. But so I'm in the center of this, and so I've got my hands up, or I'm utilizing one of these different fundamental hand postures in which to protect my upper body, right? And so I step, 1, 2, reverse, right? I'm going to step. And remember, if I move this foot 3 inches, this one's going to go 3. So it's not, I don't have to go all the way to the wall, right? I don't have to take these big steps to get here. It's not about that. It's about being able to move. Now, when I get in the middle, I like to do something like a switching piece or something like that. So it kind of works my mobility. I can switch to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, switch. 1, 2, 1, 2, switch. Now, when I'm doing most of this, I'm up like this. If you notice, I'm not really on my heels. I can do it very flat-footed. If I was out there with gravel and it was dark, I guarantee you I'm going to keep my feet pretty as glued to the ground as I can. Now, if you're competing or something like that, you may even want to be all the way up here on the bottoms of your feet in the same kind of fundamental action, right? I have step, 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 switch the feet, step, 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 switch the feet. If I go backwards, step, step, if I go forward, step, step, switch the feet, switch the feet. You get the premise, right? I'm not going to go through and show you a whole bunch of different patterns and routines, of different pieces. I'm just giving you the basic idea, okay? If I go side to side, I can do this 2 ways, and I've covered some of this in the other videos, right? Side to side, if I have a foot forward, in this situation, my right foot's forward, but I want to go to the left or the right, I'm here, and again, I can be flat-footed, a little on my heels, way up on the balls of my feet. I'm up here, I can do this, more agile, you think, use a lot more cardio in that situation too, though. But if this foot's forward, my right foot, and I want to go to the left, I'm going to use the right foot to push me across. I'm going to take 2 steps. I push with this foot, right? Push. And look, I want to stay focused to the front. A lot of people, they want to lead off the side. And, if I'm doing long-range kicking, it's okay to lead like this off the side. But the closer you get, or the closer the person gets to you, now you make it so easy for them to go to your backside or your front side. This was maybe 2001, 2002. I'm in my school on a Saturday afternoon, and I taught classes that morning, and I cleaned up some stuff, and I'm just on the internet. And this guy comes to my school, and this is in Austin, and he's some guy that does Filipino martial arts and JKD, some other stuff like that, right? And, he wants to have a friendly, competition thing. They used to happen a lot when I was in Austin. And not real professional, but whatever it is, what it is. So, in dealing with this guy, I face him straight on. Remember, we're within this range. Yeah, he's doing Filipino stuff, he's doing JKD and related type of that kind of stuff. So similar to me in the sense that it should be kind of a short range thing. But he wanted to turn sideways. So as he's turned sideways, I'm just hitting him back and forth. I mean, I could even stand like this on him. I was hitting even the inside of the leg, the outside of the leg. I would push this arm across, go up his backside. I didn't even really have to really even go up his front. So I just kept T-boning him with the legs over and over, pressing him across and striking. This went on for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And after a while, he had enough. It wasn't, you know, I'm not trying to kill him. He wasn't trying to kill me, but he's definitely bruised up after the event. So I highly recommend it. You know, it's just like my bicycle used to tell me, like, if I'm out here at like a kicking range, sure, I can even have my hands down here, and I can be turned like this, so it facilitates the circular kicks better. But the closer that I get to somebody, I want to be able to keep and utilize my hands equally. I don't want one thing back and one thing out. Now, I can be like this and push one hand out. I'm still square, you get me? But I don't want to be like this. Too easy for the guy to get your flank side. You don't want that. So, back to the pattern. So again, we're in the plus sign. We looked at going back and forth like this. Now the side to side. So right foot's forward. We're going to go this way. So I'm going to push. I'm going to drive down and get reaction force out of this leg to drive me across. I'm going to face to the front. Push. I push, right? I do 1, 2, 3. You do a dozen if you want. Back across though, I'm going to use the rear leg to get me back to the center. So I push with it. 1, 2, back in the center. Look, I can switch again if I want. Okay, my left leg is forward now, and I want to go to the right. So I'm going to push with the left, send me across, send me across. I want to go to the left, my left leg's forward. I'm going to use the rear leg, drive back to the center. I can switch if I want, or I'll work other actions. Right? So another aspect of this is standing this way. Now when I'm like this, if you think you can use and practice this shifting and drawing the body in, right, to evade and escape things like that, switch. I can use my hand as a parrying piece, parry, 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 or parry, parry, parry. I guess the point is if you can get the basic idea of it, of the pattern, you want to add things. And the first things you want to add, a simple horizontal or vertical punch, some type of a simple parry or block, and a simple kick, a front vertical kick. So these kind of actions, right, if I was doing this front pattern, right, and I step and a kick, I step and a kick, right, or I go back, right, I step and a kick, or I kick and I step back, right, whatever it may be. Or with the punches, right, punch, punch, or punch, punch. This way, or punch, 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 punch. So back to this pattern. Again, I may be here like this, great for a wrestler too, but a guy's trying to throw in a punch and what have you, I'm going to shift me, right? And pull myself back up. I shift me. I'll pull myself back up. I shift me, right? However you want to envision the action and how you're using your hands. We can also do it with parries. Again, parry, 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 back to the center, switch if you want, do something other kind of action. He's throwing a punch, I'm going to move out. So parry, parry, he's throwing a punch, I'm going to move across. Parry, parry, back to the center, right? Maybe I switch, back to square, parry, 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 parry. You can also do punches from here, right? Every time I step, I'm going to step, rotate into the punch. Step, punch, step, punch, step, punch. Step punch. Back to the center, move to the other side. Step punch. Step punch. I'm going to go back to the center, use this hand. Step punch. Step punch. Fundamental basic ideas using these patterns. So if you take them and you experiment with whatever it is that you do, right? If you don't have a program and you're looking for something, or you like the concept of short range fighting, short range sticking and grappling, then this stuff is good if you look at the whole program. All my videos, all of this stuff combines together. You'll see lots of videos over the swatch out and the throwing and over the Tai Chi stuff. Very little over the Xingyi. You'll see some striking stuff. And I'm trying to fill that in to show people that's the aspect that I need that, right? I need to get that throw off. I need to be able to potentially offensively attack or defend myself, then I need to be able to be sufficient enough to get the attachment and then to execute the throw. If I don't have a good kicking and striking foundation, then it's going to be hard for me to get past those ranges. If we look at this one that looks like a stop sign, right? I'm at the bottom of it like this, and my feet are inside of this of the one piece, right? So think of this as three things. Just like a while ago, when we're moving like this and we're using evasions or parries, or we're doing it for striking, or even for kicking, right? The same thing kind of with this one. They're always in the center, right? They're in the center, and I'm trying to execute into the person, okay? And I'm either to the front of them, I'm either here, or I'm all the way over here to this side of the flank. So to the front, this angle, or this angle. It's just doing it in a circle, it's the same thing. It's one of those three positions. So if I'm here like this and I've got my stance, the first thing I want to think this guy is throwing punches, and I'm going to turn on my stance. I turn. Right, I turn and get this thing to pass by me, right? Or I turn, I turn, I turn, I turn, I turn. And you can do each one of these things and do a pattern. So I'm here, right? I'm going to go to this next one. I step here. And turn, 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 turn. Don't lean away. Don't do like this stuff. You see people, they'll do this. They'll do like that. Don't do that. You become unstable. He sees you, he throws a punch and he sees you leaning like this. I'll tell you what I would do. If I throw a punch and I saw you lean, I'd wait and I would do it again. When I throw that punch and you lean again, I'd charge right in and either sweep you or knock you down. Because when you do this, in its essence, you're almost locking your hip. And if you do lock your hip, you can't send anything down to the ground. So you can't absorb the force that the guy's applying if he attaches to you, right? And then you're just going to get locked and he's going to knock you. So if we stay upright, when I move, it's so much easier for me to step inside, right? Or if I turn, it's easy for me to step and move this way, see? But if I'm leaning like this, I got to recover me to do the next action. I don't want to do that. I just want to miss this punch. I miss the punch, and boom, I'm moving on the guy. So you have turning, right? And if you think you got 2, 4, 6, 8 positions, right? So now I'm going to do it with a parry. And you can do any kind of parry you want. I'm just going to do an offhand flat parry, right? So I'm here, parry, 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 parry. If I stepped, it would be parry, 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 parry. If I stepped, parry, 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 parry. Just like that, right? And just keep moving. You're not going to get good at this stuff by doing 1 or 2 techniques with a partner. People go, well, it's all about training with a partner. Training just doing forms and stuff like that's not that great. If you can't develop the form, the coordination, the balance, all of the attributes that you need, it ain't going to matter how many times you do it with a partner. Look at professional athletes, baseball player, the guy that's a pitcher. He's going to throw hundreds of pitches, not to somebody. It's not about him being in the game. It's about refining his skill. The batter does the same thing. Any physical activity, you got to train. You got to train other than just with a partner. The partner stuff is wonderful. The partner stuff should be where you're critiquing yourself and determining if your training is meeting the needs. And if they're not, that gives you the time to evaluate and then go back and either add other things or take something out or whatever it may be. Then you go back and you work with partners again. That type of training really helps you when it comes to let's say, actual sparring, grappling, wrestling, right? You're less thinking about it, you're more doing, right? And then we have the third aspect of this, turning and punching, right? Step, punch, punch. You do 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets. You can combine them all together, right? Here, evade, or evade, evade, parry, 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 whatever parries you want to work. Strikes, whatever strikes you want to work. Right? Now, we're going to take the next part, we're going to step in. So I step in to strike, I step back, I step in to parry, I step back, I step in to slip it. Right? The punch comes at me, I move to his flank. Now I strike or whatever. And you can combine the pieces, right? He comes in with a punch, move, boom, strike, strike. I come back, I step again, I parry, I step in, I strike, come back. It's so important to do stuff like this. Even with a partner. Even with a partner, it's really great. He's here, you're here, and I'm going to do this from the front line, off of his bridge, at this angle, and to the extreme side, right? If you're going to work a technique, or work techniques, work those three angles. Not just to the front. Not just to the front. That doesn't help all that much. And moving around too much where you're not connected to the person is not going to help you with striking and grappling. Remember, if you go back to the first video, whenever I do something like this, say he throws the punch and I move, I'm going to try my best to not just attach to his arm, but somehow attach my foot or my leg to his leg, so when I go to strike or to do my next action, I can execute a trip or a throw. Remember, striking, grappling. So, all the way around, again, I can do parries, slips, evasions, strikes. I step in, I step in, parries, evasions, whatever it may be, all the way around a pattern. Now, the last one, right, this kind of pattern. And if you want to think, for this one, we're on the outside and they're on the inside. This one, we're either advancing or retreating from them forward to back or side to side, right? I'm here and the guy comes to attack and I step over here, right? He comes to pass me, and I strike him with a kick, right? Whatever it may be. This one, I'm on the center and I'm moving out toward them, okay? All right. So if I'm in the center of this thing, again, I'm going to do the same thing. You can just do one step if you want, or you can do, I don't know, I like to do two, so I do it both sides, right? I want to keep you balanced. It's like, to me, if you're striking, kickboxing, any concept like that, some people, they just dependent on one side. You can do that. There's two ways to do it. I can either become, and especially if you're a kicker, long-range kickers especially, I, for a while, taught Sabat. Box friend says Sabat from my school. It's a great kickboxing sport, but not too many people even know what it is. That was back in the very late 90s, early 2000s. Lots of excellent kicking pieces and all of that, but again, it's not well known. But in that, I need to be able to strike off of my left or my right. I need to be able to use my left and my right the same. Because when I do my kicking, if you do like a lot of people that do, I'm going to say kickboxing, they will use boxing movements, so they're fighting off the left, and then they want to do a kick, so they'll kick, and then they fall back. And then they're here again, and then they fall back. To me, that is it's bad programming, right? What happens if you get your hand, But it's not just even that. It's like, you do this and you kick and you go to fall back. If I can sweep you, that's when I'm going to sweep you. Or that's when I'm going to kick you in the side. Anyway, to my point, I should be able to be here, and kick, and then lead with this hand down and be like that. And if you think like that, it's better.